Molly from 90 Day Fiance has a relationship update. Guys, I don't want to waste any time. Molly, who we all love dearly from 90 Day Fiance, has got herself a new man. So let's not waste any time and jump right into this one. Oh, I'm so stupid. Sorry. But anyway, you guys, 90 Day Fiance Molly, she has a crazy relationship update, kind of. And that is she has a new man. His name is Kelly. Boom, right there. She met him online, which is just right there. Red flag. Oh my God. You're really gonna be with a man that you met on. That's just, to me, I know couples do meet online, but they kind of met through a weird way. So this is what happened. I guess 1 million plus men were hitting up Molly on social media after she was on 90 Day Fiance and got her heart ripped to shreds by Louise. You know, there's Louise. If you don't remember him, he was I hate to be rude, but he's a pretty god-awful human being. Anyway, they ended up going their separate ways. She was single, and she claimed she had men after men after men hitting her up. And for whatever reason, this man right there, Kelly, caught her attention. He's a good-looking guy. He was being sweet. He wasn't being too direct or too forward or just anything, you know, anything too crazy. He was being pretty sweet, pretty nice, and he caught her attention. They ended up chatting, and one thing led to another, and she was like, well, I want to meet him. And here's probably, in my eyes, the second red flag. She lives in Georgia. Where do you guys think Kelly lives? He does not live in Georgia. The guy lives in Brooklyn, New York. And nothing against New York, but it's like, she's in Georgia, he's in New York. How are you going to make a relationship work if you are state and state and state and states away? But they ended up meeting. I gotta take this stupid scarf off, but they ended up meeting, and they ended up actually hitting it off. And like, I don't know if I already said, but he is a cop. She owns her business. She probably makes more money than him, but there was never even a financial question so far, at least in play. It's just, you know, she likes him, he likes her. He's a sweet guy. He goes out, buys her dinner, opens the door for her. He's buying her flowers and all that kind of crap, and she's head over heels into him. And so now we're getting to see on 90 Day Fiance, the Single Life, the new spin-off, which I don't know if you guys heard, but it came out a couple days ago, the 90 Day Fiance Single Life on the Discovery Plus app, and we get to see Molly actually get together and be with this guy. Now, he's not moving to Georgia, none of that kind of stuff, I don't think. He's definitely not moving. That's 100% not, that is not what's going on. He is just coming down to Georgia to visit. And so she went to see him, now he's coming to see her. They were doing a little bit of FaceTime, they were kind of getting, you know, into a little something, something. They definitely have that romantic connection. However, not everything is all sunshine and rainbows, because do you guys remember Molly's business partner? I am totally blanking on her name, which is just humiliating, but she was the one that was on Pillow Talk, hilarious other lady, really good kind of buddy-buddy thing with Molly. They're really fun to watch together. She was also on this show because she owns the business with Molly, and she's Molly's best friend, and so she, you know, was starting to kind of keep her walls up with this whole Kelly situation, because Kelly was sending her all these romantic messages. He was sending her flowers. And of course, Molly was just melting. Her heart was melting. She was so into the guy, which, this is the deal. The friend saw Louise. She saw what she went through with Louise. And so she's just like, you really don't know this guy much. And she doesn't. She met the guy one time. They've been chatting. He hit her up after she was on 90 Day Fiance. Nothing wrong with that, but it is just kind of, not that he's trying to seek fame or anything, but it is just kind of like, you know what, maybe go a hair bit slower, but her heart is melting. And so before Kelly came, he shipped her a big, you know, bouquet of flowers, and once again, her heart was melting, but you could see that Molly's best friend slash business partner slash co-host on Pillow Talk was not really feeling it. And now the question remains, is the guy going to be good? Is he going to be bad? And we are going to have to wait and see, because we have not yet seen them actually come together, but in the next episode, it appears we are going to see Kelly make it to Georgia, and we can see their relationship play out, and I don't even have the slightest bit of a spoiler if they are still together or not. So more on them at a later date. But while we are on the topic of 90 Day Fiance Single Life, we got to see some other couples, and I am so split. If you have not already bought Discovery Plus, and you're thinking about buying it because of the show, let's talk about that at the end of this episode, because I couldn't decide for the life of me if I liked the show or not. We got to see Molly. Like I just said, we saw Molly, and then we also got to see just probably one of the most annoying, cockiest, you know, guys at least, to be on 90 Day Fiance, and that is Ed. We all remember Ed. There's Ed, and he is now trying to get in a relationship with a 28-year-old woman who, let me also say, has a great personality and is freaking pretty. I mean, she's not, you know, drop-dead gorgeous, but she's really, really pretty, and nothing against Ed and his neck and his looks and everything, but he's not much of a catch. His personality is just, for me at least, I think he's kind of fake and full of himself. And it's, once again, it's like, why is he trying to go after someone that is completely out of his league? But we saw Ed, he was talking about the breakup with Rose and how he's all devastated. Okay, bunch of baloney, bunch of stupid ridiculousness. Then he's now trying to get back on his feet, and he's trying to meet another woman. So he's on a million different dating apps. He claims he's getting catfished left and right, which is like, if anyone's doing the catfishing, it's probably you. And so he ended up meeting up with a dating expert. And the funniest thing was, he went out to dinner with this lady. And so we did not know who this lady was. I'll try to post a picture of her right there if I have one. And she's attractive. And so he was like flirting with her, kind of. And I was like, what is he on a date? Like, it made no sense because they didn't give us anything to lead up to what is going on. And so he's talking to this girl, and he's on a date. And then the first thing he says is, she says something about The View or something, and he goes, I like The View or something, talking about that stupid joke he used to always say with Rose that went viral on social media. And she has no idea what's going on. She has no idea what he's even talking about. And she kind of fake laughs at him. And I'm like, he's on a freaking date, and he's, using the jokes that he once said that went viral. It's like, this is the dumbest, most full of crap, corniest stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. But then it ended up being the, attractive girl he was out with is actually a dating coach, thank God. And so she was giving him coaching advice. I don't know what good she can possibly do. There's not much coaching you can do in that situation if a guy thinks that you should be dating, beautiful women, and he's, definitely not at that same level. But anyway, he told her what's going on and how he has this, basically a woman that is 28 years old that works at a restaurant. She's a manager, this, that, and the other, and he is so into her, and he goes and sees her every day to go eat out, and that's the gist of it. And it's one of those awkward situations where if you've ever worked in the hospitality industry, I did for like a week, you know what I'm talking about, where there are some people, you are nice to customers that come in. That's the gist of it. If a customer comes in, you're nice. And so Ed, this lady was probably just nice to Ed. Maybe she kind of talks to him here and there. For sure, nothing too serious. And the funniest thing, kind of the saddest thing, is Ed goes, I met her like 2 months ago. Okay, well, that was after he was on 90 Day Fiance. So this girl probably just saw him go viral, and she saw, oh, hey, hey, you're the guy from that TV show. And she was being nice to him, and Ed took that as, she's into me and I want to ask her out on a date. And it's, no, if you are a waiter, waitress, manager, whatever, in the hospitality industry, you're nice to your customers. That's it. So Ed, in my opinion, took that as some form of flirting, and he ends up going out to this restaurant because his dating coach, told him to go ask her out, and he sits down, and there she is, and he starts kind of flirting and talking, and you could just see this girl's like, what does this guy want? And then, of course, what does he do? He asks her out, and it was awkward, it was weird, and it was just one of those things where it's like, no offense, Ed, but why don't you just ask out someone your own freaking age? He's 55, she's 28, and the funniest thing is, at one point he goes, she's 28, then about a minute later he goes, she's 29, so he doesn't even know how old this girl is either, but he asks her out, and we got to see just a snippet of her basically saying absolutely categorically not. However, it does sound like they do kind of get together for some dinner thing, so she might say no to a date and maybe yes to we can at least kind of get together outside of work, maybe, because we do see that she goes to his house, I believe. So I don't think anything ever comes of it. I think she has no interest, no offense, Ed, in him, but it's like, I just don't see it happening. I think she's probably, if anything, just trying to be polite, be nice, and that's about it. And no, it was not just Ed and Molly we got to see. We also got to see, oh my god, the other dumbest idiot on 90 Day Fiance, and that would be Colt. Does anyone like Colt? Because he is now like Ed. He's so incredibly cocky. I don't know if women just flock to him because he was on 90 Day Fiance or what, but yeah, he's incredibly cocky. We got to see him go on a speed dating event or whatever. It was god-awful. No one was interested in the guy. No one wanted to be with the guy. I'm sorry, but that was just the case. No one had any interest. It wasn't even that he's not good looking or anything. It's just he goes in with this cockiness, and I feel like all the ladies are like, dude, you're not very attractive. I probably sound so rude right now. I understand that, but this is just coming from my heart. They're probably like, dude, you're not the best looking guy. You have this scruffily weird beard. Your hair's all over the place. Cut your hair. Trim your beard. The weight thing's probably not even that big of a deal. And then your attitude and your whole thing towards life. He's acting like he's some Mr. Big Shot walking around with his head up. It's like, dude, get out of here. So it was annoying. Actually, one of the girls at the speed dating event went off on him behind his back. So that did not work out at all. But then he kept talking about how he's hung up and he won't, forget about Vanessa. Remember Vanessa? Yeah, that Vanessa right there. Vanessa. Yeah, basically after the whole 90 Day Fiance tell-all went down, Vanessa and Colt have been friends with some more things attached to it. They are kind of going at it, but they're not really dating, so I guess I don't even know. They're just kind of, doing God knows what, and, I can't even imagine. I physically cannot even imagine them physically doing God knows what, but anyway, they're kind of messing around, but she does not want to date him because she does not trust him, and he is, on his hands and knees begging, will you date me? So they ended up getting coffee, and he basically just begged and pleaded that, hey, I want to be with you, and we can't just have the benefits if you don't want to be in a relationship. That's what he said, but she goes, I think you're a nice guy, you're a good friend, but you are a liar. You have lied to me multiple times about this girl and that girl, and I can't trust you. And I kind of agree with Vanessa. She probably can't trust him, and she just filed for her divorce. So I don't know if she should be jumping back into a relationship of any, it's a serious relationship, but he was begging and begging and begging, and it appears that they are going to get back together, I think, but I do think she ends up denying him, I guess, at that time at the coffee shop, and then he tries to go out and date a little more, and with God knows who, and it's probably completely fake for the show, and then I think he gets denied a little bit more, and that's about it, and then I think he ends up going back to Vanessa, she takes him back, possibly, but Colt, just a bunch of craziness crap. Nothing that interested me. I think the guy is a completely freaking out of his mind crazy. And then we saw Brittany, the boss. Brittany, yeah, she was there. She was talking about Yaz, and nothing exciting there. Then she is now talking to two different men. One lives in Canada, so it's the thing with Molly. Okay, that's a great, fantastic idea. The guy's in Canada. What are you gonna do? But it's she's talking to a guy in Canada, and then she's talking to a guy that's actually from Detroit, my hometown, kind of. But then I don't even know, because she moved to Houston, so it's he's living in Detroit. She's in Houston. I don't know if he was there for the weekend or what it was, but it's why don't you just date a guy in Houston? Kind of seems kind of odd, but he's a tad bit younger than her, and honestly, not a tad, he's a lot bit more normal than her. He seems like a normal, nice guy. He was just kind of joking around, hanging out. He was definitely having a good time. He was into her, but key word in my eyes was, because after Brittany started to kind of open up, she opened up about how she was dating an 87-year-old man, and when he heard that, he was like, oh, you're joking, right? And then she ended up going, no, that's the case. And then he was like, no, you're joking, right? You were not dating an 87-year-old man, and no, that was the case. So I think that kind of threw him for a loop, made him super uncomfortable, and then that was about it. The date was okay. I think, honestly, though, after she said I was dating an 87-year-old man, he was like, I don't want anything to do with you, because he was like, what did you do with him? And she was like, we'd go ride bikes, and oh my God. And maybe, and I don't want to judge, maybe the guy was a nice guy, but I think his kind of, gold digger flag was screaming off going, dude, she just wants a guy with money, run. And that's kind of honestly what Brittany wants. And Brittany, she doesn't hide it. She even admitted on the show she wants a guy that can take care of her, point being. And so I don't know what she's doing going out with a 24-year-old guy that, if I had to imagine, probably just, makes decent money. It's not like he's some billionaire or anything. So they went out. It was kind of awkward, kind of weird. I think he kind of got thrown off, and that was about it. She's also talking to the other guy in Canada. He's supposedly coming into town in a week, and we get to see that relationship play out, but if I had to guess, it probably does not work. And last but not least, we got to see yours truly, the one, the only, the Danielle and Muhammad, and mainly Danielle. We're actually not going to see Muhammad at all yet, but we got to see Danielle in good old Ohio, and she's running around single, still kind of caught up on this whole Muhammad crap, but long story short, she's not seeing anyone, and her Muhammad had they might have had the worst ever 90 Day Fiance breakups ever. He used her, she was kind of even using him. They were a god-awful match. She was weird, he was weird, not a good couple. And so they ended up having this huge falling out, and then after that falling out, they obviously went their separate ways, and they were not in communication. However, Danielle said Muhammad has been reaching out and texting her casually, just, hey, how are you, stuff like that. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, what does he want? He wants something. I know he doesn't care at all how she's doing. I know that for a freaking fact. What does he want? And so, long story short, he said he was in, he's a truck driver, so he was in Ohio for a couple of days for work, and he's off work, just hanging out, and he asked her if they wanted to get together, which was probably just fake for the show, but they are going to get together at a diner, and that's when we get to see them actually go face to face and talk, and if I had to guess, I would say Muhammad probably wants something, and Danielle was like, I don't know if he just wants to be nice, or maybe he does want something, I don't really know, and then once she's driving there, she goes, his green card meeting or whatever is coming up pretty soon. I go, oh, well, that's what the guy wants, and at worst case, he probably just figures if you know, if the green card thing doesn't work well, I'll keep you in my back pocket and make sure you're happy with me. So if it doesn't go well, we can call you or do whatever we got to do with you, because she's probably on somewhat of a hook because she was the one that got him here. So I would not be shocked one bit if he's trying to get her to come here, you know, make her all happy-go-lucky and whatnot, and then just, you know, once he gets his green card, he'll be gone. So he won't ever talk to her. If I had to guess, he won't ever talk to her ever again. But Danielle's all giddy, like maybe he wants to, you know, not that he would. She wasn't saying that maybe he wanted to date, but she was like open to that possibility. And it's like, Danielle, girl, he's not gonna be dating you anytime soon. So, oh my God, Danielle and Muhammad, we are just got to see them both walk into the diner. We didn't get to see them talk at all, so we don't know what he wants yet. But if I had to guess, he's probably trying to use her. And yes, if you are wondering, what about Fernanda? Fernanda is also going to be on the show. However, we have not seen her anything. We have not seen her on the show yet. We just saw previously she's going to have a party for her divorce, and that is it. But she was not on the last episode. Well, guys, 90 Fiance, The Single Life, it's a pretty good show. That's what I want to talk about. Pretty good show. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10 so far. It could get better. My only problem is it's like Brittany's like one of my favorite people on this season. I like Molly. Danielle's okay. Danielle's kind of frustrating though. Danielle's okay, whatever. But Ed and Colt I don't like. And Fernanda, I'm not a big fan of her either, honestly. And Brittany is kind of just like blah. So everyone on the show is kind of like not my, you know, I'm not a big fan of them. But it is kind of a decent show so far. So definitely worth checking out if you have Discovery Plus. If you don't have it, maybe it's worth checking out. Possibly. I would still wait and stay tuned just yet because this season could get a lot better, or it could just kind of be plateau and just be kind of blah. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the comments below, hit the subscribe or follow button, and y'all better stay tuned for many more videos.